It's helpful to look at a simple example of how people react when they hear a fire alarm. It's quite often not how you would think. We've got some hidden cameras in this room and have invited a group of people to participate in what they think is a market research session on education and training. They've been told that they're going to take part in a group discussion and be interviewed in a separate room once they've filled out a short questionnaire.
If you could just make a start filling out the questionnaire, and then we're just going to have a bit of a group discussion afterwards. So we won't obviously keep you any more than the hour. So thank you very much for coming as well. So I'm just going to nip out to see if there's any other latecomers or anything. And so if you can just start filling them out, that'd be brilliant.
The trainer excuses herself from the room and leaves the participants to complete the questionnaire. Research shows that if people don't know what's happening, it can have an adverse effect on the way they behave. They often don't react at all when they hear an alarm or smell smoke. They go into denial. They don't think they're in danger, and so they ignore the situation completely. The group is totally unaware that we're about to set off a fire alarm in the corridor outside the room. It'll be a conventional fire bell. Let's take a look at how our group reacts. As you can see, they all hear the alarm, but they don't really react. Though they do start to talk about what might be happening.
We just run.
School bells out. Attention now.
The group is displaying a classic behaviour pattern. They don't know how to interpret the alarm. People often talk amongst themselves or joke about evacuating the building and don't take it very seriously, even though they have no way of knowing what's going on outside the room they're in. They try to gather information from sources around them, but unless they're able to convince themselves that there really is a fire, they will not move. They wait for someone to take charge and tell them what to do. In fact, the amusing discussion of whether they should leave the room or not is soon forgotten, and they all return to filling out the questionnaire. Three and a half minutes after the alarm has been set off, a lady finally gets up from her chair. But only to get a drink for herself and the people she's sitting with, and she soon returns to her seat. The alarm continues to sound. It's not until a further 2 minutes has passed that one of the participants actually gets up and leaves the room to find out what's happening. Notice how she exited the room. This is another piece of classic behaviour, going out the way you came in, when it might not necessarily be the safest way. Notice on the other side of the room there is a fire exit. This leads directly outside the building, a much quicker and safer route of escape. So in total, 5.5 minutes passed from the start of the alarm to someone getting up and taking the lead. In the event of a real fire, time is of the essence, and minutes wasted could be fatal. This proves that if people only have a single stimulus, the alarm bell, they don't know what to do. They need more.
Today we were all sitting in a room completing questionnaires and a fire alarm went off.
And we all kind of sat here and looked around and mentioned the fact that there was an alarm going off. And we all just sat.
I just thought maybe it was an alarm test and just assumed that if it was a real life fire or whatever it might have been, that somebody would have opened the door and said, "Get out."
My first reaction really was, okay, I suppose we better sort of make our way out. And then obviously I looked at everyone else and nobody moved, so I sort of thought, well, okay, I'll just wait and I'll just carry on with the form. And it honestly didn't seem that long that the alarm was going off.
I think everybody sort of looked around and we didn't react because we kind of
were following like little sheep for each other, I think.
I think the general thing was kind of, okay, we're not going anywhere. Let's just finish this off and wait. I think the general thing was everyone was waiting for something to happen.
You could see people looking at each other thinking, is somebody going to be coming in a minute?
A lady sat there, I think, said, she said, do you think we should get up and go? And then no one really sort of responded to that, so she sort of kept quiet.
I have to say I wasn't particularly bothered, was a bit sort of nonchalant about it, because I have worked in large organisations that have frequent fire tests, alarm tests, and so it didn't freak me out, and I just thought, you're all right, which could have been wrong, because it might have been that one occasion where it wasn't all right.
I started feeling a little bit uncomfortable the longer the alarm went off, and I suppose in the beginning I did want to leave, but I think it's probably human nature. You expect someone to come in and say, right, there is a drill. I mean, I half expected everyone to be sort of piled out in the car park and us just sitting here, but you do, that's what's going through your head, but in reality you just sit there and wait for something to happen, some sort of direction, which